Hey guys, it's my ambition.
Good morning, everybody, or evening, or night, wherever you are. It's morning for us.
I know, right? It's Tiffany and
Alex. Hi, everyone.
hello. So lovely to be here today. It's my birthday. Thank you everybody for wishing me a happy birthday in advance.
Happy
No,
birthday.
not singing. No singing, just
Okay.
talking. Yeah,
Happy
we just talk on
birthday.
this podcast. We just talk.
It's exciting to do it on your birthday, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. I'm always reflective on my birthday, but we'll come to that. I think the first thing I'm sort of really excited and happy about is how far we've come with the podcast and the fact that we've had so many guests.
Yeah. Who'd have thought?
Who would have
Because,
thought?
do you remember how nervous we were when we were prepping for our first interview?
Yeah. I think what I've learned, and I'm still learning, and I continue to learn, is that everything always seems overwhelming before you begin.
Mm-hmm.
And you always think, I don't know, I'll figure out. I think the key thing is just to throw yourself in and the rest will come. Get started and you'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think you hear people saying that all the time and you think, yeah, whatever. But it's so true. It really is. I think if we had waited till everything was perfect, till all the stars had have aligned, we wouldn't have started this yet. We wouldn't have had guests on. And you're right. Anything you try, you're like, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, ideas are always wonderful. And I think sometimes there's a lot of science research that when you talk about something, it's almost like you're doing something. And I'm learning that sometimes we've got to get away from that, almost like mental masturbation, if I can say that word. No, but it's true.
Wow, it's early in the morning for that.
Really, it's true. I think there's a lot of, it always feels nice when you talk about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually learned this idea that you should not talk about something until you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds quite cruel, but I think it's very helpful because otherwise you just have this wonderful ideas and you must be like, oh, as you're talking about it, I'm doing it. So yes, that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I think because I know obviously our listeners, you're all ambitious people and ambitious mothers, and you want more out of life. So sometimes I think you got to give yourself that discipline of really getting started, because otherwise nothing gets done.
Yeah, and I think some of the stuff that you see online of people saying, don't compare your day 1 to somebody else's day 20 of doing the same thing. And I'm actually going to talk about the LinkedIn challenge I've been doing. So Tiffany got me onto LinkedIn. She told me it's the social media to be on. And I was like, really? Isn't it just like a big CV online? And then I discovered I really like LinkedIn. And I did a little course that was about visibility, and that it's obviously to do with the promotion of the podcast. That's really why I'm there. But I've ended up really enjoying it. Did this visibility challenge course thing, and one of the challenges was to be visible for 100 days. And I think I'm on to like day maybe 65 today. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know what I've got to say. But actually, most days I've had something to say. And people have found, just observations about the world quite interesting. But if I hadn't started, I would still be thinking about what can I post about? What can I do? But actually, don't overthink it. Just get on with it.
Yeah, that's it. And I think a lot of it comes to it comes down to confidence. And I think, especially as women, we have this need to be perfect, need to be liked, need to toe the line. So a lot of what we do is an extension of those fears. It's like, if I go on social media, if I say something on LinkedIn, who's going to like it? What if nobody likes it? What about if it doesn't make sense? So, but it's like you almost have to lower the threshold and just kind of just relax and just post something and just start, or comment on someone's post. I think that's also another way for our listeners who might want to build their LinkedIn brand and visibility, is start commenting on other people's posts as well. You don't always have to post for yourself.
Yeah.
You can even reshare someone's content and then respond to that. And even that in itself is a way of building a community and building engagement. So yeah, I think we might probably at some point do a LinkedIn kind of, maybe find like a LinkedIn expert who can come in and go through LinkedIn now to build the brand.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because so many more people are using it now as well to kind of network and meet people. And I've met, it's where we've met a lot of our guests, isn't it? And honestly, there's so many amazing people out there that you would never get. How would we meet them otherwise?
We'd never meet them in day-to-day life. And I think also another thing I found with LinkedIn and the whole motherhood and ambition thing is that everyone is in that similar journey, And the more connection you have to other mothers who are also managing the juggle, the more you realize that your problems are not as unique as you thought they were. And it helps you. It just helps to know, oh, you too are juggling. Oh, you also are struggling with your kid going to nursery and, you know, having to do a pickup. And it's just a nice, and mom guilt. And it's like, oh, okay, it's fine then. And I think it just really helps, because otherwise I think it's just you and everybody else is doing really well and you're struggling and you're behind. So yeah, I think that's the power of community. It's
even like a global thing. So we've talked to people in the States, thinking about talking to Anouk and her living in Barcelona. Everyone's juggling the same things.
Yeah, they really are. And hopefully my ambition is that platform where, you know, we can all say that it's not about us being perfect. And I think even with my ambition, I think there's this sense that we're doing this not because we're perfect mothers or we've figured out this mother. No, well, I am actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect mother. I am an imperfect mother.
No, I think it's this idea that, you know, even I will say this, even us doing this podcast, it's not because we figured out motherhood and ambition. It's just because we're passionate about it and we want to create a community around it. So again, that should inspire you, audience, that we don't have it all. We don't know everything about mother and ambition, and we're willing to do this. So you don't have to know everything about what you need to do. Just start it and go figure out what you need to figure out to make it work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, but no, it's been incredible, and we're looking forward to. I mean, what sort of guests do we have coming on soon for themes? I'm trying to think.
Confidence, and that'll be a really good one. What else?
We have Dina. She used to be a lawyer. Then she was a management consultant for many years. Incredibly educated, an amazing woman, and now she talks about how women and leaders can find the intersection of purpose and pay, which I think it's like amazing. We've got Sam coming. She's an amazing entrepreneur from the Northeast. Whoop, whoop. We've got just so many different.
Yeah, we've got loads of people lined up. I'm just thinking as well about Layla, who we're going to talk to as well, who is a mother of triplets and also pushing back on mum guilt.
You, Layla. I mean, sure everybody's got like twins or doing that same juggle with like double the amount of childhood at the same time. Yeah, we respect you. We respect you. And now let's talk about birthdays. So yes, I know, right? It's just the B word. So I was saying to Alex, I think recently that this is one of the birthdays where I actually feel very celebratory. I don't know why. I probably need some counseling or therapy on this, but for quite a few years, I've always felt a bit anxious on my birthday, just because whenever my birthday comes around, I start to feel a little bit agitated about where am I? What have I achieved? Is it even worth celebrating my birthday because I've not achieved my goals? You know, I'm still waiting for Forbes 35 under 35. I mean, you guys got a few hours. Let's say they're in America. So if they're in American cooperation, then that's EST hours. So guys, you go about.
Get on the phone, guys.
So yeah, I think for me, my birthday always brings up the sense of like, I'm not where I should be because I'm a very ambitious person. And I always feel like, oh, I should have done ahead. And because of that, birthdays always make me feel like, oh, there's not much to celebrate. And I've usually had my last two birthdays been quite sad for me. But this year, I know, but this year is different. I'm taking perspective. I'm taking control of it. And I was having a conversation with my sister, and she was saying how our mom actually passed away when she was 36. And the fact that I'm here, 35, with a wonderful family, wonderful friends, I'm alive, my children are here. I mean, if I don't start to celebrate that life and be grateful and use that as a way to fill up my cup, then when will I ever do that? So for this year, what I've done is rather than worry about what I have not achieved, this year I've made a list of 35 things I have overcome.
Oh, wow. 35? Amazing.
I know. 35 things. So I was saying to Alex, I'm not going to go into like everything. I might actually make a post on this on LinkedIn. So if y'all want to check it out.
Oh, yes.
But
I do really want to see the list, actually.
Yeah, because I was like, I've overcome a lot, you know, a lot of challenges, a lot of struggle. Number one, a couple of things was the idea of vague ambition. This idea of vague ambition is like, oh, I want to be better, I want to do better, but I don't quite know what at. And then I look at other people, they do well at something, I'm like, oh, I'm still behind on that. But it's it's stressful because if you don't know what you want to be better at, you'll always feel a bit anxious. But once you can be selective and choose one or two things, and even when you see other people being successful at other things, you don't feel the need to anything. You just feel like, well, that's not my kind of path, so I'll be okay. So having that specific focus has been really helpful for me.
I like that idea of following your own path as well. Like, nobody can do everything, and narrowing it down to the things that matter to you and not worrying about the rest. I think that sounds like very sensible, positive step in your life.
No, I think it's important because I think the world, social media now exposes us and gives us a front seat to everyone's success. Even LinkedIn, everyone's like, and it's nice and celebrate everyone, but I think what it also does sometimes, it pulls you in different direction. You see someone saying, oh, I'm a coach, I've been successful as a coach, oh, I've been successful as a business development person. You think, oh, that sounds amazing. But when you don't sit down with your own like sense of clarity and what you want and what's actually important to you, then I do think you kind of, every success sounds amazing. But remember, every success takes time, right? Because it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
And the next question is, are you willing to put that 10 years that they've put in? Probably not. So, but when you find the thing, like my ambition, look, I'll be up at 5 if we need to for my ambition. So it's that sense of this is important. So
yeah,
I'm okay with this success, even if we get 5 listeners, rather than trying to chase other things. But yeah, that's been really important for me. Another one was the idea of external validation, and it probably is a little bit broken because I used to, for a while in my life, kind of want people to validate me. Oh, thank you for that. Oh, I feel so good. Oh, you think that much of me? That's wonderful. But now I'm much more leaning into my own validation. Like, what do I think about myself? Have I done the work, or have I how do I feel about myself in private? And am I being like accountable to myself? Am I doing the small things I said I was going to do? Because once you start like not respecting the promises you make to yourself, it doesn't matter what other people think. People can think highly of you, but if you think so low of yourself, it will show. And I just think that is so important, because when you feel good in yourself, you respect yourself. I think you can even take on criticisms.
I think you're much more able to respond to even negative feedback and things like that, because you are not being buffeted by it. You are sort of steady in your own path and your own feelings about yourself. So whether people give you positive feedback or negative, it's not really impacting how you feel about yourself, and that's a good place to be, for sure.
Yeah, because you can, some people's feedback is worth listening to, but some people's feedback is not. And if you can know what to take, what to leave, what to work on, and sometimes you don't even want to work on something. If someone says to me, oh, you're so rubbish at admin, I'll be like, oh, thank you, hallelujah, I'm so glad you saw that, because I put my hands up and I don't even want to be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that makes me feel better, because I am rubbish at admin.
Yeah, I know that wasn't a thing. I'm joking. Well, no, I think especially as women, as mothers, we are like Michelle Minikin. She's a psychologist that we had on one of the previous episodes. She talks a lot about this good girl conditioning, and I think a lot of it is like, we do want to please people. We do want people to like us. We live by, if you live by the sword, you would die by the sword. Or yeah. And I think it's kind of like that. It's like, if you live by people's approval, you will die by their disapproval. If you don't say anything nice to you today, oh, no one said anything, that must mean I'm not okay. I just think that's something I have to work on a lot.
I think that probably chimes with a lot of people. I think most people are dependent on that external validation. And I think to get to a place where you're not really that bothered about it is a good place to get to, because all it can do is increase your confidence.
Definitely. And there's a couple of others about, even the idea of judging people too soon. Like, because I used to be like, oh, I'm not sure if I get along with that person, a bit different. But now it's like, I think I've just realized in myself, I'm not even perfect. I've got so much to work on. So I haven't got time to judge someone else. Especially when you become a mom and you realize that we're all kind of messing up out here, but we're trying.
Yeah.
I'm less like, oh, your kid doesn't go to nursery? Oh, interesting. Why? And you tell me why. And I'm just intrigued, rather than, oh, you don't give them screen? Oh, you tell me why. Or you give them a lot of screen? Oh, tell me why. And that's it. I have no interest in judging anyone.
Yeah. It's making me think actually of hi, Catherine, of your mum.
Hey.
She always used to say to us when we were sort of being judgmental teenagers, she'd just say to us, "It's a good thing you two are so perfect." And it's so true, before you judge anyone else, like take a look at yourself and just give people a bit of grace. That's all they need. Like everyone's got lots of things to juggle. And yeah, we probably have got things about ourselves we need to improve before judging anyone else.
Yeah, and I think also it's like a lot of times we judge people because we're secretly judging ourselves. I think a lot of it's confidence.
Oh, that's deep as well.
No, but I think so. I think sometimes you kind of like, if you're so like passionate about like judging people, like, oh yeah, I mean, it's not really anything to do with you. It's like, why are you so bothered? Why are you so triggered? I always think about that. So I think the more you kind of take time to realize that you're flawed, everyone's flawed, and everyone's coming from somewhere. So Nigerians have got this quote, na condition made them make crayfish bend.
Okay.
It's like that you don't know where the crayfish is coming from, and it's what it's been through that made it curve in that way. And if you think about, you don't know what people have been through, why they're coming across like that.
Oh, that's really a nice quote.
But yeah, and once you can understand that there's something behind this person, then you can be like, oh, I don't know what it is, but I know mine, so let's give them a moment. Or not even give them a moment. You can also run away if they,
but just let them get on with it.
I think so. And I think once you can do that, then you realize, maybe I can sort myself out, So yeah, that's been interesting to me. And also I was just saying about like my hair, things like, getting comfortable in natural hair, even being comfortable in wearing flat shoes. Oh, another one. When I used to work in the corporate world, I used to wear heels all the time, even when it was not comfortable on the central line, on the Jubilee line, every morning I'd be like this. And it's like, I think I associated like being beautiful and being desirable with heels, which it has its place. But nowadays, guys, you should see me, my trainers, even my trainers, it's like, I just wear trainers. I wear flats all the time because you know why? I feel just as good in flat shoes as I do in heels, and that's taken me a while as well.
I had surgery on my foot it must be like about 15 years ago, and I have not worn heels since then. Would have done when I was younger, but I'm all about the comfort. And even my own wedding, I think I wore heels with like the like a tiny little heel on them. And I changed into sandals to dance like later on. But yeah, I am all about being comfortable and being confident in yourself anyway. And I loved, full disclosure to the listener, this is take 2 of this episode because we were interrupted, weren't we, yesterday? So talking about like mum life and how nobody's got it all together and how difficult things are. We had a little guest into our podcast.
Yeah.
This is take 2, but we talked a bit about how you feel about your hair and how it's taken you a while to feel good just having your hair natural. And like, to me, that's so surprising because I've seen you out with natural hair at like various different like fancy events and stuff like that. So I would have just assumed you were really comfortable with that. So I hadn't realized that was something that you'd worked on. So
yeah, oh god, yeah. There was someone I used to work in the, I still work in the corporate world, but I go to an office and years ago, I wouldn't, if my hair was not done, I would have taken a day off work. I was not going to go to work in natural hair. And that's so sad because it's like, it's this idea of beauty and what we consider to be beautiful. And I think for a long time, I've seen like a weave and a wig, like long hair to be desirable. But that's not my natural hair. Like I have afro. So it was like, so that means that you're rejecting yourself. So I've had to work through that. But no, honestly, I don't care. Like I would have straight hair, I would have braids. I mean, next week, I don't know what I have. And then when I'm 40, I couldn't shave my hair. So it's just this idea of like loving yourself and accepting yourself. And seeing the beauty in yourself regardless of the external kind of like what's going on.
I really like that. And I think it's amazing to have that self-acceptance.
Yeah, but I think that's something I've always like, I'm still intrigued in you by you for Alex. You're so like, your confidence is quite unshakable. And I think I always ask you this about your grandma, but I'm very interested in that because you're so, to me, you're like, you're so confident in yourself. Like it's just, there is no like two ways about it. And I'm like, where did she get, like I'm really interested in that.
I mean, it's hard because
No,
there have
no,
definitely been times, like as a
yeah,
teenager, where I wasn't as
yeah,
confident as I am now. But I think a lot of it is quite innate, and I think it is to do with how I was brought up, and that's one of the reasons, I'm interested in confidence in children and how you grow that in them, or how you maintain that in them, I think is probably more the right word, because up until they go to school, they're quite happy with themselves, aren't they? And I think the stuff you were saying about external validation, often women can be bad at taking a compliment. So if people tell them they look nice, they're like, oh, this old thing, or start talking about the price. Now, I will talk about the price because I love a bargain, but I will also just say, oh, thanks. Like if somebody says I look good, like, I think, yeah, I do.
But
And
I
I
love
don't,
that.
yeah, I
No,
don't
I really
100% know
do.
where it comes from.
No, but I really love that because imagine if we all had that. Like, it's more women have more of. I think the world would be a better place because we would be able to go to the workplace and take that confidence. And even in dating, I mean, so many like manipulation of women happens through someone paying them a compliment or treating them well. And they're like, oh, me, hold me, you're treating me so well. Oh, and then they trust this person that's actually not good for them. So there is so many underlying like benefits to women being more confident. And it's something I think as mothers I'm quite conscious of, like for my children, how
Yeah.
to be resilient, how to be like you're good enough. So even when things go wrong, it's okay because you might fail at that, but you'll be fine. And I'm even now. I mean, I've started taking my son running around the block, so we go like a 5 run. I just want him to be able to deal with life and deal with anything, so that he knows that in himself that unshakable thing value is there. Yeah, that's something. But I'll share one last one. I, uh, I think this idea of quick wins as well. I've given up. I've overcome quick wins because I realized that most great achievements, they take longer and require more from you than you planned. It's okay. And the question is if you're willing to pay the price.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that's an important question to ask yourself, isn't it? It's like, is this worth putting in the work to me? Because if it isn't, then why are you doing it?
Yeah, I think you've got to just leave it because I think that's the thing about, I think even Yasmin Sampson Darosha talk about that, like this idea of what do you want? Because I think when we dare to question ourselves and we actually give up on some goals that we thought we wanted or that our parents wanted for us, because then you can really select 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but it's really, like specific. And then you have enough time. But if you feel like I have 20 goals, I want to do this, then you're overwhelmed and you don't even get started because where do I start? Oh, so it's cruel at the beginning, but it's really important, I think, to be so specific.
And as somebody with ADHD, I find that hard. So when you're talking about having all of these things you're thinking about, that's what everything's like. When you've got ADHD, you're thinking about 100 things you could do at the same time. So I feel like being really intentional is probably helpful to that kind of journey as well, of like as using that to try and block out a bit of the noise you have internally as well.
Yeah, I saw a video about that. There was the Light Bible founder who talks about ADHD.
He's called Alex as well.
Yeah, it was saying now it's like a pen. You know those pens that have different colors where you push one down, and it's an ADHD person kind of goes through that all the time and can't choose which pen to write with. That makes sense.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Because you have got so many things in your head that you want to do at the same time that you're sort of paralyzed by, I don't know which one to choose. I don't know which one to start or to stick with. So it's like that. That kind of finding it hard to focus on your priorities, but about everything. So I feel like what you're saying would be really helpful with that, because the only way to deal with it, apart from medication, is to put into place these controls to try and make life easier, make focus easier. So I like what you're saying, and I think I will really give it some thought myself as to how I can focus on the things that matter to me.
Yeah, well, we'd love to get someone on board, I think, because it'll be such a useful topic to talk about as well. And we'll do one last one, actually, that I think a lot of women do struggle with naturally. This idea of the need to please other people and to fix other people. that's one that I've kind of had to work on. I think number one, when it comes to pleasing people, is this idea of like, always like saying sorry or feeling like, oh, you don't want to, you want to just, toe the line a bit or apologize at work, or can you do this? Of course I can, even if you can't do it. And mothers, you're already busy, so now you're taking on some extra meetings that are not really important, but you're scared to say no but actually I think people like and respect you more when you have boundaries. That's what I'm finding. We think the opposite.
Yeah, and I certainly would never think somebody was a bad person or be angry with them for saying, oh no, I can't manage to do that right now. And I think people need to remember that and reflect about themselves so you can feel more comfortable in pushing back. And just, I feel like it's one of those things that's easy to talk about but harder to do. But I think you can practice it in really small ways. So I would say practice saying no to things that just don't really matter, really little things. Like your partner says, can you make me a cup of tea? And instead of just saying, yeah, say, no, I can't right now. Can you make me one if you fancy a cup of tea? Just practice pushing back on really inconsequential things and see how it feels.
No, but it's true. I think it's such a good point, because as women, we just want people we want to do things, do everything, and it's overwhelming. And the idea is that, especially with motherhood and ambition, if you want to achieve your goals and your dreams, then you've got to learn to kind of ask for help or be okay with not being not pleasing everybody, just so that you can do the important things. And it's just having that sort of boundaries. And when it comes to trying to fix people, people don't change unless they want to. We won't go into that in too much detail, but I've learned that unless somebody wants to change something or there's some sort of desire, you can say all you want, and then it actually destroys your relationship with them when you think, oh, they should change, or why can't they see this? And it's important to recognize that and know when you should walk away or when you should kind of give the information or give the ideas, and just kind of sit back and let people be motivated to do it for themselves. That's something that I've learned as well.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. They've got to want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll leave it there, unless you have anything else you want to share, Alex.
No, I don't think I've got any more gems, but I really like what you've done there with the kind of things you've overcome. I think it's important to reflect on that kind of thing. And for me, I would say that time that I like to do that is New Year. I'm really nailed onto the New Year's resolutions, like a bit of that. So yeah, really like what you've done there.
Do you tend to like follow through then?
Yeah, as much as I can.
Amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, starting this podcast was one of them, so smashing that. The other big one was moving away from using as much plastic in products at home. So just trying to be a bit more intentional about that. So I now use shampoo bars and stuff like that instead. And I'm trying to continue the kind of momentum with that. So yeah, I generally do tend to follow through with what I've decided. And I would probably use most of December kind of thinking about what my resolutions would be and have like a period of reflection.
I like that. And I think it's interesting because that in itself raises the point of, we all have is it demarcation line, a line of like demarcation, or a line where we think it's, this is a season of change. And it's different for everyone. For me, it's my birthday. I don't feel as like clear, like everything is as clear cut at Christmas. I appreciate Christmas, I appreciate the New Year, but I don't feel like, I need to change something right now. But for me, it's my birthday. And I think it's important for everybody to know where their kind of season is of change into that. Because then for you take it seriously because it's New Year, and I take it seriously because it's my birthday. So it's important that we all find our time and use that time well, because being a mom is such a busy life. You are looking after other people. You don't normally prioritize yourself, but if you can find a time when it's for you and it's time for you to reflect, then that's how you can actually make changes and, hopefully stick to them.
Yeah, like use the power of that motivation to drive you on.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. So yes, I hope you guys find the power of motivation to drive you on onto the next episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
And just finally, happy birthday.
I've always wished I could sing, but I can't sing for can't. Thank you. And see you guys in the next one. Cheerio.
Thanks. Bye.